Hello everybody and welcome to Over the Rainbow, an LGBTQ plus podcast dedicated to queer education and queer representation. I'm your host, Rachel Keighley, and I use she, her pronouns. Today's guest is Tita Marr, who also uses she, her pronouns. Tita is a YouTuber, vlogger, and all-round great person who's recently posted an amazing coming out story to her YouTube channel, so please do go check that out. Tita joins me today as we discuss and debunk some of the common myths and stereotypes applied to LGBTQ plus people. We also have a really open and honest conversation about our own educational journey as we learn more about identity and engage with LGBTQ plus issues. I hope you also learned something new today and will challenge these stereotypes and myths wherever you see them in your own lives. So, with that in mind, let's get on with the show. Hey, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Really warm.
I'm really cold. So, no, I'm really cold. So we're polar opposites right now.
Literally, I love it.
I know.
Okay, so I guess we'll launch right in. Start with, what have you done this week, either to engage in queer education or queer activism?
So I have actually posted a video on my YouTube channel. I think that's how I started my YouTube channel, really. Just basically my coming out story. I say coming out with like inverted commas because I didn't really come out in the most common way. But after doing that, basically I was sat in my room and there was a trans march going on in Manchester and I was at home in lockdown and I couldn't go. And I was just like getting really emotional. I was like, I literally haven't done anything to support like the community, like the trans community, LGBT community. And I was just like beating myself up over it. And then the thought in my head came, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to post a video because like where like people that are from my town, I generally don't know anyone else really who's like a part of the community that I am friends with from back home. And I was like, yeah, just going to do it, posted it out, really great response. So yeah, I was like, to be fair, like that's the only thing I feel like I've done that's worthy of like recognition. So this being on this podcast
so far.
So far. So being in this podcast is definitely number 2.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Glad to make the list, yes.
Yeah, number 2.
That's a good one, that's good. Congrats.
Thank
coming
you.
out. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'll do mine. This week, or it'll be in the past once this goes live, but I presented at a conference for the International Network for Hate Studies. If you haven't heard of it, Google it, it's really cool. Just presented on some of my PhD research, so on the everyday microaggressions and everyday hate that LGBTQ people face that's often just really ignored because it's dismissed as like banter or, oh, it's not that serious, when actually it's really harmful. Like when someone is targeting you purely because you're gay or trans or whatever, like it's not acceptable no matter how serious it is. So yeah, I was presenting on that. Hopefully I'll get some good feedback.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely like a huge topic to cover because I definitely have fallen into the category of even being a part of like the banter. And it's like, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, no, like doing it to yourself isn't really okay either.
No, exactly.
And like people don't talk about it enough, which I think is a great thing to kind of discuss for sure.
Yeah, it's just reflecting, isn't it? You realise how like much you might use language incorrectly without even realising it. So yeah, it's all a learning curve.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'd definitely love to know more about that, to be honest. So
yeah, well, I'll definitely be sharing more of my PhD research on the general theme of hate against the LGBTQ community in subsequent later episodes. So
Nice. I look forward to that.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay, so this week we're going to be discussing some of the most common myths or stereotypes that can be applied to different identities within the LGBTQ plus umbrella. Obviously, this list is by no means exhaustive. There's probably like hundreds of stereotypes, but we just wanted to start with a few, didn't we, to show how presumptuous they are. And frankly, I don't know, they can be pretty damaging, some of these views.
Oh yeah, 100%. But like, what's scary was like when I was going through them, like obviously could relate to so many, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've been on like the other end of this as well, like from a much younger age, like in school. And I was just like, I actually felt so bad. I was like, this is just not okay.
I know you do. You realise, don't you, that either you were actively a part of it or you stood by while it happened and thought, oh, whatever, it's just banter, it's playground banter. And it's like, no, it's not.
I'm like, this is my life right now, which was crazy. But I'm still like, that's the thing, like I was doing some research and I was like, I'm educating myself on so much that I'm so unaware of.
Exactly. It's exciting, isn't it? We're on the wave of like learning about identity, and hopefully other people will learn as well. And hopefully people will share this with their friends, their family, or whatever, and people will actually learn to think about the sort of opinions that they hold or that they think they hold. Yeah. So should we get started? We've got 15 myths or stereotypes to start with today, and
yeah, let's do it.
We'll start with number one, believe it or not.
Number one.
So number one is being LGBTQ is a choice.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not.
Yeah, no.
When I read this one, my answer was like, no, it's not. It is not a choice. Yeah, but like the thing is, like with this is like I've kind of experienced this from like, not in a bad way, but like I have family in Thailand, and I like brought my girlfriend back with me for the first time, which was like a huge deal. And sometimes like the questions that like my grandparents would ask would kind of imply that maybe like, oh, but you do like guys as well, and like right now you just like a girl, and that's fine, but like maybe later, you know.
Yeah, it's like it's just a phase, you'll grow out of it.
Yeah, but I'm like, well, no. I literally said to them, like, it's not like I've, one day woken up and been like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll just like a girl one day, and then who knows, maybe I'll just marry a guy when I'm like in 10 years time. I'm like, I haven't like just decided to choose this option in life. I'm like, definitely, to be honest though, it's not something that I could ever say like I've known from a really young age, because I haven't. But at the end of the day, like I didn't choose to like fall in love with a girl. It happened so naturally. Like I didn't even think about it when it happened, until like after a while, and I was like low-key freaking out. But it happens.
I know, exactly. We all go through that like period of being like, oh God, is this wrong? But that's society, isn't it? That's society telling us that we should be straight, and because we're with a girl, if you are a girl, it's like, oh no, everyone's going to tell me this is wrong, so now I'm going to have to panic about it. And
yeah,
you don't.
Sometimes I do feel really bad that I genuinely haven't really had a negative, like any negative discrimination or anything towards me, really. Like, even though my grandparents were kind of asking the questions and implying things, for me that was just because they had never ever been in a situation like that at all. Like they'd not been exposed to anything like that.
I agree, it's all about teaching everyone, isn't it? Like people seem to think it's a choice, it's just about teaching them. It's not just like, it's not a choice to be straight or to be cisgender, it's not a choice to be gay, and there's nothing wrong with either. Like they're all just identities.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that. But it's just like worrying, like knowing that there's probably kids, like children, that are believed to think that they're not old enough to make decisions in life, until they reach a certain age, and they're going through like struggles that we're going through, like maybe like in adult life. Like I'm 25 and I'm literally just starting to experience like questions about my identity and certain like struggles behind it and stuff like that. But there's like kids that are going through it now and probably have their parents being like, no, like you're not gay, or you're not bi, or you're not trans, or whatever, you know.
Exactly. And it's just, it's so damaging. Honestly. We can actually come back to that one in number 4.
Let's do it.
But before, we'll go to number 2, which is coming out only happens once.
Coming out only happens once. I don't. What's your story? Do you know what? This is so weird. I feel like we've not talked about this.
We have not actually shared our own coming out stories. No,
we've never. Yeah. Do you want to start? Do you want to start on this one?
Yeah,
I'm quite interested to.
I will. Yeah, I feel like. I mean, I obviously came out to you in inverted commas purely because I think you mentioned when. So, for listeners out there, Tita and I did one shift together at a cafe once, one shift. And you just like, as casually as you should, were like, I think you said something like, I'm going to visit my girlfriend in her hometown or something. And my little gay ears were like, oh, yay, a fellow gay. So immediately I was like, oh, cool. But it was like, it was actually the timing for me. I definitely didn't share this with you because it would have been like the worst timing ever. But
okay.
I'd literally broken up with my first girlfriend that day. Like, I know, that day. Ooh. So I wasn't going to be like, oh yeah, my girlfriend too, because I didn't have one. But I was kind of like, I know I've got an ally here. So I don't know if I did come out to you therefore, but.
Yeah, I don't know how I knew that. I genuinely, yeah, because I remember saying it. But I didn't know how. Maybe I just like followed you on like social media or something.
Maybe it's social media that did the job for me.
I was like, oh, what? I had no idea.
But anyway, that's like a perfect example of I don't think you don't come out just once, do you? Like you came out to me and you come out to every single person in your life. You may come out to like a group of people at once, but it doesn't just happen once. I had to come out to myself, and then I had to come out to my friends at uni, and then eventually I came out to my parents. And then every time I meet people in the world, you have to come out, especially when they're like, oh, so do you have a boyfriend? And you're like, no.
Oh my, that happens so many times when people would be like, oh, are you single? Oh no, they'd be like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? And you'll be like, no. And they'll say, oh, so you're single then? And you'd be like, no, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, not and the only option. Oh.
But the response was just picture like, it was unreal. Like sometimes I would literally just pause and look at these people's faces when you say the word girlfriend, and it's like, I
know. They're like, what do I say? I know, but I like having those moments now because hopefully those people will then think, oh, I can't make that mistake again because it's fucking embarrassing for me that I've like.
Yeah, no, that is true because to be fair, at the place where we worked, I think I'd mentioned they were talking about like relationships and stuff, and like I was in a relationship, and then my manager was just like, oh, so like you've got a boyfriend, and I was like, oh gosh, no, this is awkward. And then I was like, no, I've got a girlfriend. And then she was like really apologetic, and I was like, oh, it doesn't bother me. That's the thing, like stuff like that generally doesn't really bother me because I'm just like, well, no, I've got girlfriends, so it's fine. I don't know, it's just that bit of like, or is it called awkwardness? I don't know if I would say it was awkward, just having to be like, no,
it shouldn't be, but it is.
It's a little bit awkward.
But coming out does not happen once, which was our long-winded point there. We have to come out all the time, and we shouldn't. Same way that like when you meet like your parents, when your parents like are meeting new people, they're not like, hi, I'm blah blah, and I'm heterosexual. Like,
but yeah, no, that's the thing as well, because I didn't even come out as like, I came out by saying, I went home to my parents and was like, by the way, I've got a girlfriend, and that was me coming out.
I love that.
And then yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. I was just like, right, I'm gonna do it. And then to my friends as well, I was like, oh, they knew like I was chatting to this girl. I kind of just mentioned that, and they kind of all assumed that, oh, like Tita's bi, like she likes girls and guys. But then like over time, I've even had to like go through the process of coming out a couple times to myself, just going through the like whole identity crisis and what am I and labels and all that stuff. And
yeah, that's a whole other discussion, isn't it? Oh my god.
yeah, no, we'll leave that for another day. But
so number 3, if you've been in a heterosexual, that's straight relationship, you can't be gay.
well, I can prove that is not true, because I have been in many. Have you been
No,
with?
I have not.
You've never? Ah, okay. So, well, yeah, see, I only dated guys until the age of like 20. Yeah. And then when I like got a girlfriend, I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm bi. Like, I genuinely thought this because I was like, because I've been with guys, yeah, I find guys attractive, so I must like both. And then when I did my YouTube video, I literally just like went on this like massive tangent about maybe like liking both guys, girls, men, women, however you
Want
you
to
want
say
it.
it?
Yeah. And then I kind of backtracked and was like, well, actually, every relationship, heterosexual relationship that I've been in, there's always been something missing. Like, I just never really, I don't know, I could never really get to the whole like I love you stage, with that. So, but I did genuinely find like an attraction for these guys, and I did fancy them and stuff like that. But I just think that, like, I don't know, I feel like that's the thing, I don't really have anyone I know, like a friend that's gone through anything like I have. So like it's really hard for me to ever like compare stories or anything like that.
Well, I think that's the point, isn't it? It's so unique. Like, sexuality is fluid, and your journey to discovering your own identity, like, it doesn't matter what came in the past anyway. Like, it's how you identify today and how you choose to define yourself. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and I don't think that should ever. Yeah, I think a lot of people were confused. They were like, oh, so like you are bi because you've been with guys, like you like guys. You're like, well, I'm like, well, now no, I have been in heterosexual relationships and I am definitely gay. So yeah, I think that one. But yeah, I don't know if it's like because I never really felt completely 100% like committed into the relationship, in the sense of like there was something missing on my part that wouldn't allow me to like kind of go that extra step with anyone. So, but it's still classed as a relationship, really, isn't
100%.
it?
Yeah, it's no less valid. No, awesome. Good answer. Okay, number 4, and we mentioned this before, is children are too young to know if they are LGBTQ plus.
Do you know anyone that's like gone through this process? Wait, did you?
I did not know. It hit me like a ton of bricks when I was 20. Like,
did you? Oh my, we are on the same wavelength.
Literally, you might have found the other person that's gone through a similar thing. I had no idea.
No, really? Oh.
Well, there are people, like my friends knew from like as young as they could have a concept of like gender and sexuality, or even if they didn't have the language to put to it, they knew that they didn't fit into this box of like, oh, when you grow up, you're going to get a husband or a wife of the opposite sex and you're going to have children and that's your life. Or, oh, you are the gender that you were born as and that's it.
Yeah,
and it's like,
exactly.
you hear of kids, and I've seen it, and I volunteered at an LGBT youth centre down in Leicester, and I've seen it. Young kids have a bigger understanding of identity than I do. They have so much more awareness, and like turning around and telling them that they're too young to understand, it's like, well,
I know.
Actually they're not, because you'd never second guess your assumed heterosexual or cisgender child knows their identity.
I just think as well, because like they don't really, like, you're so young as a kid, but I find kids like so intelligent.
Honestly though.
Like so intelligent, but so like naive as well, in the sense that like even if they are so confident in their own identity, that even if like, you know, they had parents that were just so against it and stuff, they could definitely like somehow brainwash them to think different. And like I say brainwash, I kind of do mean brainwash, because for me that's what it is, like to make someone believe that they are not the person that they genuinely feel that they are and identify as. Like I just think that's brainwashing.
Yeah, and it's so damaging, and it comes out, doesn't it, in the end when the person's an adult and they're like, I've had to keep this part hidden from myself and from others for so many years. Like look at Philip Schofield when he came out, at like, holy crap, like,
did you cry? I cried,
honestly, yeah. And I listened to his, I feel like I'm about to plug Fern Cotton's podcast here, but whatever, it's amazing. Fern Cotton's podcast, Happy Place, she did an interview with him, and oh my god,
I haven't listened to that.
It's really good. Heartbreaking.
Oh, okay, right, okay. Jeez, okay. I do like Happy Place, but I haven't listened to that one. But okay, yeah. That's the thing. Wait, so he's known from a really young age?
That's what he said. Yeah.
He said he's always known, but just completely shut it out. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That is so heartbreaking. But oh man. But even like, you know, is it Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah, exactly.
That's mad. Like that is crazy. Like I think apparently she'd done like a Vanity Fair article about it. To be honest, I didn't get too involved, but like obviously I thought it was such an incredible thing to do, to come from a family in such like in the limelight and like to do that. But I just couldn't believe it. I was like, that's still a human being. Like she may be the part of like the Kardashian clan, whatever, but like this is literally a human being who has come out. How old was she? Like 50 odd, nearly 60?
Around that age, yeah, 50s, 60s.
And just being like, knowing that for so many years that was like who they truly were, like, and who she was. Sometimes I feel lucky. Like I feel so lucky that I didn't really have to deal with that, because I think that would have damaged me so much. Like I don't even know how I would have dealt with it, to be honest.
No, I exactly the same. And like there are people across the world that go through that same experience, and it's like, I just want to be able to help every single one of them. And if it's like grabbing all the people that think that you don't know who you are from a young age and being like, no, you do. Like,
yeah,
and we need to do that. Yeah.
I mean, I hope I'm not being naive myself in saying this, but I do really hope that, like, sometimes I do think the kids now are growing up in a world where it's nowhere near where it should be.
No.
Like for people like 60 odd, the stuff that they had to go through, for us, for like me and you, to be able to like walk around the streets how we do, like the fact that I get to hold my girlfriend's hand and like kiss her out in the street, did literally just came from so many years of just
struggle.
Oh yeah, like painful struggle and trauma, and like fighting for something that is just literally basic human right.
Summarized the whole movement in one sentence. I love it.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know, that wasn't in my notes. I don't know where that came from.
Amazing. You've like plugged that one out.
Okay, we're done. Podcast.
Yeah, I know. Like, don't need anything else.
No, it's okay. We can move on. We can move on.
Okay, so number 5, same-sex couples have male and female roles. Absolutely not. Like the whole point of, well, it's not the whole point, but one of the points of me being in a same-sex relationship is that we don't have these like traditional male and female gender roles. Like it's not one of us going out to work and wearing the pants in the relationship and the other one staying at home and being all feminine. Like, I mean, people, just individual people come in different shapes and sizes, don't we? We're all unique. Every single person you meet is so vastly different. And like, I don't conform to any sort of traditional heteronormative roles, but then neither should heterosexual relationships either. Like,
no, that's what I mean. Like for me, if any of my friends were in a relationship where I knew that like their male or female partners felt as though like the male had to be the one that, you know, brings the money into the house, like hard graft, all that, and then the woman just like stays at home, you know, looks nice, make sure dinner's on the table when like the husband comes in or something like that. I just honestly, that really irritates me so much.
I'd be like, get the fuck out of that relationship, like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if my girlfriend, like if Penny kind of had any sort of, I don't even know what to call it, like if she felt like that was the case in our relationship, we wouldn't be together. Like I love our relationship because she is who she is and like I am who I am, and we're so I feel like we are very non-conforming to those roles. I don't think I could be with someone who's like that, to be honest. It would just irritate me.
It's such sexist, I know, it's such sexist stereotypes, it would drive me insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, good. I'm glad you're not you're not in one of those relationships.
No, yeah, you're just bashing my relationship, Tita.
Yeah, get out of there.
Okay, number 6, there are only 2 genders. Do you want me to take that? Do you want to take that? Because there are not.
Well, they're definitely not.
You have male and female, cisgender as in 2. You've then got non-binary, but then I am a firm believer that gender is so fluid anyway that you'll fall anywhere on that spectrum. Like I don't think anyone is 100% one or the other.
Okay, I completely agree with you. Yeah, no, I do completely agree with you in that. Like it's so weird. So Penny was saying, Penny's my girlfriend, by the way, just for anyone who knows, just so everybody knows. She was telling me the other day that one of her friends saw a photo of her and was basically just like, oh, you look really androgynous, but not in a bad way. And she was going on about like how the Romans, like in Roman times, if you were like androgynous, you would be seen as like the most beautiful person. And she loved that. She was like, I took that as such a compliment that she didn't look like female or male or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you go, girl. But I just thought that was like really cool when she said that. I was like, yeah, like what, people should be more like that.
Exactly.
They?
Like you shouldn't assume people's gender and you should be able to present in whatever way you want to present.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Obviously, yeah, I completely agree. And sometimes though I do find that like I don't know if you've ever done this, but I'll kind of be scrolling through Instagram because I'm just following endless, you know, LGBTQ plus pages and stuff. And I'll like be showing someone else a photo, and before I say like, oh, look at like her or him or like they, and then I'm like, oh, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing though. That's so true.
And then I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, but like what do I say? And then I feel like shit, I don't know what to say because am I offending anyone? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know if you've ever had that, but I do that all the time. And then I'm just like, I should know more.
Yeah, well, this is why, and this is something that I've mentioned, I don't know if it's in the previous episode, it's in an episode coming up about like everyone should normalize using and sharing their pronouns. So my pronouns are on my social media. they say it says she, her, so immediately everyone knows that's how you refer to me. And if everyone did it,
Same.
then there'd be no like misgendering people. There'd be no like having to be like, oh, how do I don't want to misgender this person. I don't want to assume. Like, it just normalize it.
I completely agree with that, because I think at first when it was happening, I genuinely thought that it was for people only in the LGBTQ plus community to put it on their like socials, whatever, like it's on my Instagram as well. But at first I thought it was just for them. And then one of my friends I know, she had it on hers. And I was like, oh, it's not. But I'm just like, it should be for everyone. Like, why not? A pronoun is not fixed.
No.
Just for like one community. It's literally for everyone. And I think that like, I completely agree with you there. Like, I do think it is something that is important, because for some people, like gender is like a massive deal to them, like what, like the identity that someone has. I think you can be insulting to someone, can't you? If you don't get it, people can be so insulting, and then you're just like left feeling really shitty and embarrassed that you've just offended someone literally based on their gender, which is, you know, just part of life, really, isn't it?
It's a very easy fix if we all just learn to not assume. Like, you don't assume people's name, do you? You ask their name. You should ask their pronouns, or like everyone should start sharing their pronouns.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Done. Job's a good one.
Yeah. Next, right?
Okay. Number 7, you can't be gay or trans, or you can't be LGBTQ plus and religious. Do you want to take this, or shall I?
Well, I recently listened to a very good podcast not long ago about this, but I thought it was really so interesting, because this girl had basically come out as Christian first, after like finding religion through, I think it was like a US summer camp, and like her friends had her friend had been to a US summer camp and like come back and just obviously raved about how good it was and how they'd like found Christianity and it's just amazing and they had the best time. And then she wanted to know more about it, and then ended up like turning to Christianity. Is that the right word to use? If you like turn to,
I guess so. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not religious.
Yeah. No, well, no, neither am I. And found Christianity through that, and then like years later realized she was gay. And then I think it kind of, her view on Christianity changed a lot. So the views that she thought that she should have believed compared to the way that she sees it from another person's perspective, that like that isn't religious towards like being gay. I thought it was just like one of the most like raw conversations to have, because that can really fuck people up. Like, excuse my language, but it really can. I mean, I'm not religious. Not really at all, to be honest. Like, you're not, are you?
No, I am personally, I'm a total atheist. I don't believe in any God, but I the reason I don't believe in a God is not due to my sexuality. I have a lot to say on how certain churches and certain religions expel LGBTQ plus people or reject them, but I don't think that's the actual religion itself. I think it's the people running that religion.
100%. From what I gather about Christianity, like, or any other religion, I don't even know if it even states.
It's love and kindness, isn't it?
It doesn't even say anything about being gay or something. Like, yeah, maybe like it focuses on like men and women, but as far as I'm aware, there's nothing that generally states that two, like, you know, same-sex couples can't be together or whatnot. But I somewhere where I worked, I was really good friends with someone who was really, like, he'd found Christianity and it saved him and stuff, and I was really reluctant to tell him that I had a girlfriend, because I was genuinely terrified that, oh no, what if he starts treating me differently, just from my like presumptions of religion. And but like I told him and he was absolutely fine. And then yet again, I was like, why have I just assumed that this guy is just going to act totally different with me, knowing that I'm gay or like in a gay relationship? So
yeah, I think it does happen. I've definitely been rejected by religious people, but I just think that I think they've misinterpreted their religion, or they've got discriminatory views that they justify under religion when they shouldn't, because equally I've met other very religious people who don't care at all. Like my grandma is religious, and she's like, she has found a way, well, not found a way because that makes it sound like it's wrong, but religion and sexuality and identity and whatever are completely reconcilable in her mind, and I think that's great for her.
Well, there's a guy that comes into my work. I think this is so bad, are they called pastors, or is that an American term? Pastors. He runs a church basically, and he's gay, and like we have great chats, and I'm just like, oh, I was like, your church must be so fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can definitely understand why there is probably assumptions that religion and being gay is a massive no-no, but I don't think it is because of religion. Like, back to what you said, I think it's about the people, not the religion itself.
All right, number 8, pansexuals are just bisexuals.
Right, so this one, I was a bit like, I needed to do my research, because I think big learning curve, because I think bisexuality has changed so much in, like, I don't know, maybe in like the past 5 years, because from what I thought, so like being bi is like 2 genders, so you just think a male and a female, whereas, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but pansexuality is about like being able to have like the emotions and the feelings for any gender.
Yeah, any and all. Pan literally means all in Greek.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I think, but then I feel like, because I was having this conversation before, if you are like bisexual, so like say if I liked a girl, like a cis woman, cis female, but there was maybe like say a transgender female, for me, I would class that still as a woman, as one, like they're not separate. Does that make sense? And I feel like some people, like when they say pansexuals, I heard a lot that people think that, oh, pansexuality is when you like men, women, trans males. But for me, it's still a woman and it's still a man.
Exactly. And I think that's supposed to be the whole message, isn't it? I think that they are, again, it's sort of the danger of labels, isn't it? You like who you like, and these labels obviously have an official meaning, but that doesn't mean that you have to stick to that meaning. But they're not, pansexuals and bisexuals are, I guess, technically different, even if one is used as an umbrella term, but different people will use the term bisexual for different reasons as part of their identity. Like, no one's 50-50 straight down the middle anyway, are they?
100% agree with that, for sure.
Yeah, I think pansexual developed from the fact that people thought bisexual was too restrictive. And I'm meaning no offense to anyone who identifies as bisexual, but if we're talking about wholly about the meaning, it was seen as too restrictive because it literally, by definition, only incorporates male, female, and doesn't recognize the fact that there's more than 2 genders. So you might find that bisexual people are also pansexual, or they might not be, and it's just label they prefer.
But like they are different though, aren't they? Like
yeah, by definition, yeah, I think they are. And anyone who disagrees can feel free to respectfully disagree.
You can educate me for sure.
Moving on from that one, but in a similar vein, is number 9. All bisexual and pansexual people are promiscuous and or greedy. This one really angers me. I think it's so just biphobic and panphobic. Yeah, like hands down.
And I feel like any little like derogatory sort of insult, whether it's playful or not, is to bisexuals or pansexuals is just like a horrible remark. Like it shouldn't be said. And I just think even if it's like playful or not, I think like people have said, I think I've even joked about it. I think like my friends would say to me like, oh, she likes guys and girls, like she just like she loves them both and stuff like that, maybe she's a bit greedy and stuff like that, and I would just laugh and go along with it. And I think that like when I saw this, I was like, that's really terrible that I've done that to like myself in the past, because that's not just insulting me, that's insulting like millions of people.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's one of those things where people just don't think about the effects their words have. But it's like, just like, so you identify as gay, I identify as gay, I'm not going to be attracted to every single woman out there, and I'm not going to go and date every single woman out there. And it's like, I don't understand why it is that just because bisexual or pansexual people like more than one gender, that therefore means they'll want to go out and date everyone. Like, they won't. There's still going to be qualities in a person that they are attracted to and other qualities that they're not.
100%. And I feel like I don't know, like I've, from things that I've seen and read, that a lot of people who identify as gay can be very like biphobic, and I find that outrageous. Like, I find that insane that like they can think in that way. But I don't know why. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't.
The double standard of it. Like, you see it on dating apps, like no bisexuals, and it's like, why? Literally why? Because if they're interested in you, they're only interested in you.
Yeah, that is actually mad, to be fair. I've never went on like dating apps because the girlfriend, my only girlfriend, I'm still with, so I never ever got to see any of that. But my friend who is gay and he's got Grindr, he'd show me some of the stuff, and I would say that is horrific, like horrific. I'm so glad I never, like, touch would never ever have to deal with that at all. I just couldn't do it. But I don't know though, it's just, yeah, it does really annoy me.
No, I just automatically, like, again, I'm not on dating apps anymore and hopefully would never will be, but if I saw that, I would automatically be like, well, that person has horrible values if they're excluding people purely because they like more than one sex or gender. I'm like, well, then nope, you're not for me because you're a horrible person.
Yeah, basically that. Would be like, right, swipe right. I don't even know which way. See, I'm so bad, I don't even know which way to swipe.
I feel like you've just accepted. Swipe right is you've accepted the biphobic people, so you're swiping
right, left. Yeah, okay, that makes sense to go left, to be fair. So yeah, we'll go left.
Okay, number 10. Feminine lesbians or femme lesbians don't exist, and all gay men are effeminate. I mean, the spoiler is that these are all myths, but it's not true.
Yeah, they're all wrong. So yes, I can completely agree. Femme lesbians don't exist. That's ridiculous.
They obviously do. I wear dresses on the
regular. That is actually insane. Who said this? Who made this up?
I'm not sure. This was on... I was Googling some like stereotypes, and I will put the links in the show notes because I don't want to take credit for coming up with these myths. Obviously, they already existed. But yeah, people genuinely think that lesbians just have to be like masculine or butch in inverted commas. Some are, but they're not all.
No, exactly. I'm to be honest, like, I don't even I feel like I haven't been out in so long that I'm just literally like, I don't even know. But I mean, I can 100% disagree with that. But like, what makes you femme? Maybe you can educate me on this.
Well, it's the gender stereotypes again, isn't it? It's like the fact that the woman wears dresses or skirts and has to look like a traditional female, and the men have to be masculine and look like a traditional strong man. And obviously they don't, and you don't, because how you present yourself to the outside world, whether you wear a dress, you wear your hair long, you wear your hair short, whatever, like has no causality with your sexuality whatsoever. That's just your like dress choice and the way you choose to express yourself.
Completely agree. I didn't even know that femme lesbians were a thing until like last year. This is how like unaware I am of the lesbian world. Sometimes I feel like I should. Well, no, I was going to say I feel like I shouldn't be a part of it, but I 100% should. I 100% should.
Yeah. Don't exclude yourself, no.
But like, I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm a little baby, but I am learning.
Well, we all are, aren't we? Like, there's so much, like, no one's completely well informed on everyone's identity. So
yeah, that is true. It does come to like as a surprise to me being in like a 4-year relationship pretty much and still just starting to figure all this stuff out. But I mean, better late than never.
Exactly, and it goes to show how important, not to plug my own podcast, but it goes to show how important this kind of thing is, because even if you're part of the community, you might not know it all and have all the answers.
Yeah, and like at first when you asked me to do this, I was like, I am not the person to do this because I'm just so unaware of what's going on. I really do feel like that. But I've recently just like tried to not accept that I don't know anything. I'm just like, well, actually, you need to educate yourself on it, which is what I'm doing.
And this is great. So thank you for doing it with me. Yay.
Very welcome.
Okay, we're on number 11. Yes, I can count. Number 11. You'll change your mind. So I guess that being gay or being trans is just a phase.
I bloody hope it's not a phase because I'm really enjoying it.
No.
I don't want this to end.
What a shame that would be.
Yeah. Honestly, if I wake up and this was all a dream, I'd cry.
No, go back to sleep.
Okay. But yeah, no, I like I mentioned earlier about like my granny kind of asking whether if I could ever see myself being with a guy, and I just had to straight up say nope, not at all. Like yeah, just not at all. Like no, I don't even want, like I just haven't really thought about it too much, but like you know when you just know, like I know
exactly. Yeah, well, just like if you ask your grandma, you could turn the question on her and be like, oh well, gran, like how do you know that you might not meet a woman and be with them? And she'd say, well, I just know. Yeah,
well, I know I am gay, so end of conversation. Yeah. No, not quite like she was actually really sweet about it, actually very, very respectful.
No, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you had people say that to you?
Not to me directly, but my grandfather did apparently say it to my mum and dad and my grandma, saying, oh, he said, like, I don't think he meant it in, I mean, it was harmful, but I don't think my grandpa's not a nasty person. I think he just didn't understand the concept of like anything other than being straight. So I think he'd kind of said to my grandma and my parents, like, oh, you know, it's just a phase though, isn't it? And my grandma was like, no, it's not, Philip.
Oh, Philip.
like, come on, learn about this stuff. Yeah, no, bless him. But it's like, he just didn't know. And coming from him, it's not as harmful because he honestly didn't know, and now he does. Whereas people who are saying it to on purpose, like pigeonhole their children to be like, shut that bit away, you'll change your mind, like that's dangerous.
I agree with you on that. Like my granny and my grandma, they have like, they know of like gay people, like my grandma's best friend, like he's gay, but it's just no one in the family has been gay or has been in like a same-sex relationship or anything like that. So they were so unaware of it. And I think that comes from like a cultural thing as well, like in Thailand especially, which I completely agreed with, to be honest. So like when she said it, it did upset me, because I was like, I've literally brought back this girl that I'm like so in love with. And then after a while, she kind of got it. I was like, yeah, that was really nice, actually. I think when your grandparents, I feel like grandparents, because it's such like, for me, was cultural, but also like generational.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think it's a generational thing as well, which I do get. I do completely understand it. But the minute that they have been like exposed, I guess, to like the reality of things, and kind of being more educated on these things, and if they were still to be like, no, then I think that's where the issue lies. But if you were just unaware in the first place, like your grandfather was,
yeah,
then I think you just got to take it with a pinch of salt, really, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah, and you've got to give the person the knowledge to then go away and take that space to learn. If they didn't know, then they didn't know, and you can't blame them for that, but you then have to teach them.
And I think that's good, being aware that people do need to learn, rather than just thinking, oh, that's what they think, and basing it off just one comment.
Exactly. Good answer. All right, number 12, lesbians hate men.
I really don't hate men at all. I just don't fancy them. Doesn't mean I don't hate them. I love guys. Like, I have quite a few male friends and I absolutely adore them. But they're just lovely people.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself. I'm not attracted to them, but I can be you're all great friends.
Yeah, I don't really think I hate anyone. Like, maybe I'm close to hating some men and I'm close to hating some women, but
Yeah.
But I really don't get that. I don't know if that's, even if lesbians do think that. I don't know.
I really hope not. I think that just comes back to, I don't know, this, maybe people still say this, I hope they don't, but people used to say, oh, you just haven't met the right guy yet, or you just haven't been with me yet. And then when women pushed back, it was like,
yeah,
oh no, they're just men haters or man haters. And it's like, no, we'll probably dislike you if you're a horrible person, but that has no relation to your gender.
That's a weird one. I don't know who thought of that, but that's I don't hate men. I'll just clarify. Men, if you're listening, I do not hate you.
Okay, number 13. Members of the LGBTQ plus community are trying to convert others or can make you gay or trans or whatever. We can make you LGBTQ plus.
Can we?
I wish.
Can we try?
Can you imagine that power? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that would be fucking great. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna
I'll keep that power to myself.
Yeah, exactly. No, that is a weird one. I don't know.
I think this one's really come up recently in the UK,
right.
because they're making, or have made, teaching about same-sex relationships and identity mandatory in the UK in like schools. And there were so many people that protested and said, no, I don't want my child being exposed to this gay agenda or this gay stuff. Like, I don't want them getting any ideas, etc. It's like, all they're going to get is an awareness that other identities exist. If your child is straight, they will remain straight. If your child is gay, they would have been gay whether you were pummeling the straight agenda into them or not.
That is crazy, because when that came up, I was thinking, we're forced to learn like religious studies. That does not mean they're literally infiltrating religion into us and being like, pick one. And it's like, well, just because you're learning about, the LGBTQ plus world, which is a part of everyday life, you know, like it's not the fact that it's, yeah, like I wish I had this when I was younger, 100%. Like, to be fair, like looking back, me in school was probably like not a very nice person. Like I remember in school when people would like joke about people being gay when they weren't even gay, or like girls that had short hair and like dress like maybe a bit grungy or something. And I was like, and I would literally be sat there like not saying anything or like maybe even laughing.
Yeah, school was vicious.
School was vicious. Yeah. That was really crazy.
It's because we weren't taught that it's okay to be not the norm.
Yeah, no. Oh, like, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I just feel like the fact that, like, who are these people that have literally saying this? Because like if I knew someone that had gone out their way to like petition against this, I would literally just cut them out from my life completely. Like that is just yeah, gosh, that's really that does that make you angry? That makes me a bit angry.
Yeah, it makes me like want to rant for a couple of hours, which I will be doing because I'm going to do a full episode on this because it's needed.
Oh, perfect. I definitely listen to that.
Be there. So we'll move on then before I do start ranting. Number 14 is you can pray away the gay. So for me, I don't know this if I can start, if that's okay.
Go for it.
This sort of statement is often used sort of in the context of extreme religious movements or through the use of conversion therapy, which is like basically based on the incorrect and dangerous assumption that your sexuality and gender identity is something that can be changed and something that should be changed. It's like the idea that you need to be cured, so people can either do that through praying to whatever deity they believe in or going to these really dangerous conversion therapy courses, camps. I don't know what they are because
it's so messed up. It is so messed up. Like I can only assume that the people that are going to these conversion camps are like being sent from their parents.
Yeah, forced.
And I just don't even think you should be a parent if you're going to do that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, isn't it legal in America?
It's legal here. It's still legal here.
It is still legal here. No.
So this year, Boris Johnson and the NHS and other major UK therapy bodies basically condemned it and said it's dangerous, it should be banned. Even Boris Johnson said that. Has it been banned? No, it's still legal.
Oh, okay, so right. So I saw that it was. I saw that was happening. So in my head, I was like, oh yeah, okay, great, this is happening. It's going to happen, but it hasn't.
No.
Oh god, that's insane.
Yeah. So you won't get it on the NHS, which you shouldn't. But it basically means that there are private conversion therapy establishments, if you like, out there in the UK right now.
Have you seen the is it the Miseducation of Cameron Post or something?
No, I have not. Should I?
Yeah. So it's in America. What's the actress called? Chloe Moretz or something?
Yeah.
I think it's the Miseducation of Cameron something. But basically, like, I won't give too much away, but she gets caught like making out with, is that a really American term, making out?
That was really American.
It is an American film. So she gets caught basically like kissing this girl in the back of a car and her parents send her away.
Oh my god.
I really like the film. I don't think it's got like great ratings, but I really liked it because I was like, I can't believe this stuff happens, and made me angry, made me sad, and then yeah.
Like, how psychologically, physically, emotionally damaged would you be going to women? I mean, they're not going to work anyway because your sexuality or gender identity doesn't need to be cured and can't be cured.
Yeah, which is like surely more damaging.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
100%.
It's like, yeah, that makes me really angry. I can't believe that that's still legal here. I genuinely didn't know that.
Yeah, it's still legal in a lot of countries. Like Germany only just outlawed it this year. So
oh yeah, I think I saw that on like the Gay Times actually. I was like, whoop.
Yeah,
Finally 2020.
I know, something good, please.
I know. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I obviously know it happens, but there's like you can't do that. I don't think. I genuinely don't think that it would work. There would be something inside of you that knew that it wasn't right.
I know. And it's not, is it, telling someone that they're being gay is wrong anyway? Like,
yeah. But I feel like, I don't know though, because some of these people are like, I don't want to say crazy, but they are a little bit crazy, aren't they? To think that they're able to turn someone like straight.
Yeah. You've got to be mentally unhinged to think that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We can offend them. They're bad people.
Yeah,
it's
that's
fine.
the thing. Why do I feel bad about offending these people? I'm literally here like, oh,
sorry, you're an ass, but you're an ass.
Okay, you've said it, so I'm just going to agree.
It's fair now. Okay, and we're on number 15.
Wow, is this it?
This is the end. Obviously not the end of all the stereotypes. This is the end of ours.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot.
There are a lot, yeah. I had to choose. So 15, being trans means having surgery. Do you want to take this or shall I? I mean, the answer again is no, but...
What? Really?
Myths!
Oh my gosh. I've just failed at all this.
Yeah, I put yes for everything.
Yeah, ticking yes to everyone. Well, okay, so I was having this conversation earlier because I just didn't know what I was going to say for it, really. But I think from what I've seen a lot of, like, through media and like TV and stuff, and Queer Eye, might I add, a lot of trans like men, women, they feel like, you know, like getting top surgery is like their final end point to being like that's their end goal, which fair enough, if that's it for them, like that's great. But I think the minute that you identify as, what did you say, like your non-cisgender, I think the minute that you yourself identify as that makes you, like, puts you in the category, I can't even say category, like it puts you in, like, as a trans man or woman. That's how I feel about it anyway, whether you have surgery or not.
Yeah, I agree. Surgery is just one aspect or one option that is available to people who do not feel like their gender and sex match within the body that they're in. You don't have to have any kind of medical intervention. I mean, you can have hormone intervention, you can just change the way you dress, you can have surgery, but you don't have to have any or all of those things to still say that your gender does not sit comfortably with the sex you're assigned at birth. It's how you feel, and that's it. And then anything you want to do, these options should all be available to everyone, but it should not be a requirement. And it is not a requirement to be trans to have surgery.
Yeah, no. But for me, if someone identifies as a man or a woman, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, but like you still have a penis, or like I would like, that's just, I don't know. I mean, I hope I don't know anyone that would even say that.
No, it's so close-minded, isn't it?
Yeah, I will have to disagree, like every other thing on our list today.
Exactly. Amen. And that's it. We got to 15.
Got to 15.
And we've debunked 15 myths, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope someone's learned something from her.
I hope so, yeah. I mean, I definitely have. Like, I had to really do my research for some of these. I mean, it's definitely a learning process for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I still definitely want to learn more for sure. That's the thing, like, I just don't feel like I am like in the community, in the sense that I am just every day going out my way to do something. And it shouldn't even be about going out my way to do something, you know. Like, I like, sometimes I feel like me walking around with my girlfriend holding her hand and stuff is something, like being open is is actively, supporting like who you are and your identity and the community.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything hugely massive. You don't have to go and stand in Trafalgar Square in London and organise a rally or a campaign. I mean, you can, and that would be great, but you don't have to. It is the little things as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm so glad I did this, because I just wouldn't have done this, I don't think, anytime soon, which sounds really bad, but like going through all this, I've probably like waffled on a lot, but it's been great.
Yeah, we're all learning. Thank you very much. Yeah,
I can't wait for all the episodes and stuff.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and you're always welcome back. Share more of your story.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed today's show. New episodes are available every Wednesday, so please do download, subscribe, and share with everyone you know. If you have any suggestions or feedback, please leave those in a comment or contact the podcast on Instagram. The Instagram handle is @_overtherainbowpodcast, or on Facebook @overtherainbowpodcast13. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you all soon.